The man went to attend someone's wedding, only to discover that the bride was actually his own daughter, Rueying. He was shocked and immediately turned away, lowering his head to avoid being recognized. Remembering what his daughter had said before, it suddenly dawned on him, she wasn't going abroad to study as she'd claimed. She was abandoning her poor father to marry into money. Watching all this unfold broke his heart, but to protect his daughter's happiness, he stayed in the shadows, watching from a distance. After that day, he threw himself into work, pushing himself harder than ever to make money, and never mentioned his daughter again. 3 years passed this way. The young couple lived a sweet and happy life together, though there was one regret: Rueying and her husband still hadn't been able to have children. Shangyu, the man's son, found it strange that their father never talked about his sister. Even when Rueying called to congratulate Shangyu on his college graduation, their father would deliberately change the subject. Didn't he miss Rueying at all? When asked, the father simply said that since Rueying didn't care about him, he didn't want to bother her either. It was as simple as that. What Shangyu didn't know was that every Sunday, their father would claim he was going hiking but was actually checking on Rueying. He hadn't missed a single week in 3 years. Seeing his daughter living well in her wealthy household filled him with relief each time. Whenever he spotted news about his son-in-law in the papers, he'd happily clip and save the articles. As long as Rueying and Wu Kai were doing well, he had no intention of disrupting their lives. One morning, Wu Kai went out for his usual jog. Distracted by a phone call from Rueying, he didn't notice a car speeding toward him. At the critical moment, the father, who happened to be there visiting his daughter, pushed him out of harm's way, saving his life but collapsing unconscious on the ground himself. When the father came to, he found himself in a hospital bed. A nurse came to register his information, but just as he finished giving his address, he spotted his son-in-law Wu Kai. To keep his identity hidden, he snuck out while the nurse was taking him for tests. Meanwhile, Rueying had rushed to the hospital after hearing the news. Father and daughter passed right by each other without realizing it. Relieved to find Wu Kai unharmed, Rueying's only regret was that they couldn't thank his savior in person. Mrs. Jiang couldn't understand why someone would save a person and then disappear without a word.